Hello everyone, it's Sith Empire Gaming here. Before we get started with this guide, if you want to hit harder than a dull blade, hit that subscribe button, grab a glass of
osmanthus wine,
relax, and make sure to stay till the end of the video where I will pose a question to you, the viewers. So let's get into it. First item we're going to talk about is elemental resonance shown on the screen. Now, not all resonance types help damage, but Pyro, Dendro, Geo, and Hydra are the most noteworthy. The rest are probably as useless as Paimon's legs. Side note, this is probably the last item you want to check to get extra damage if possible, as some of the other points I am going to mention contribute a lot more damage. Moving us to a closely related point being elemental reactions, which have bonus effects. Some of these reactions have a 2x multiplier, like Melt by applying Cryo then Pyro, or Vaporize by applying Pyro then Hydro. An additional note here is that it does matter in which order you apply them. So for example, if you apply Hydro first then Pyro, you will only get a 1.5 times damage multiplier. Probably one of the most important items on this list being artifacts. Now the artifacts for each DPS will differ, but I typically use Emblem of Severed Fate as you get that energy recharge turned into damage. On support sets like Tenacity of the Millilith and Noblesse Oblige, give nice boost to damage. Again, this will heavily depend on the character, but you probably won't have to worry about that because getting a good artifact is harder than...
Right!
So what exactly are good stats? Let's use my Raiden for example. Looking at crit rate and crit damage, you typically want a crit rate over 50% and a crit damage as high as you can get it. With this being said, you also in most cases want to have the corresponding elemental damage goblet as well as attack or HP depending on the scaling. Energy recharge is also good as it gives a damage bonus on the Emblem of Severed Fate set. Now moving on to weapons. Now if you have a 5-star weapon with crit damage, that will probably be the most useful. But if your weapons are as bad as Cyano's jokes, just like me, just go for a weapon that's overall good and gives buffs based on what the character scales off of. General recommendations for weapons are the Windsmith, the Mailed Flower. For polearm users, the catch is really good. For bow users, the stringless is never a bad option. And for someone like Bennett, whose attack buff scales off of the base attack, the free prototype Rancor works fine. I'm not gonna lie, just recently I still had an issue with this one. Enemy resistances. Some bosses have weaker resistances to certain elements. Now to make your life easier, I have two generally best options. Either the Mechanical Array in Inazuma, when the boss is toppled, or the Scaramouche boss fight at the very end, which is way harder in my opinion, especially if you have no healer in your lineup. Now I pose the question to you, what's your main and what's your best damage so far? Since Fontaine will be releasing soon, I will be streaming day 1, so if you have any questions or just want to chill, feel free to join in. But until next time, bless your 50/50s and have a great rest of your day.